Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Y
Hello.
podcast. Hello. I thought I'd give a special hello because it's episode 10. This is like what's it called, milestone. 10 weeks
Is it?
of actually upload. I mean, 10's a pretty cool number. I didn't think we'd make it past 2. But here we are.
Yeah, I thought for some reason, I thought we'd run out of topics after like a few, maybe like a month. I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, now there's no more
It's
topics, but
been over 2 months. Very, very, very nice. It's good work. How are you today? I never really ask you how you are on the podcast. But you know what?
should we do that? Nah,
Episode 10,
you know what?
we're changing it up. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I watched some good films recently. Made me think. I'm ready for a nice, deep conversation today. And yeah,
Let's tread a little carefully.
yeah. So
I
today,
think.
episode 10, we are talking about why people are religious and everything surrounding religion,
Ooh,
basically. Ooh,
religion,
cancelable. Ooh, we
scary
might get
topic.
shot. Um,
Might get crucified.
yeah, but maybe we can start a new religion or one from the Y podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, only one
Should
of
we
us
do a
will be able to start one. Then.
live crucifix? Probably me because I carry the podcast. To be honest,
No, I'd say you'd probably be the one getting crucified.
I'll do it right here on the chair. Anyway,
No, no.
no crucifixions today. Well, maybe an episode 100 special. We can do some crucifixions.
Yeah, we'll go on a
Um,
crusade on
yeah.
episode 100.
But yeah, today, why are people religious? What's your initial overall thoughts surrounding that question?
I think, especially considering the amount of kind of deeper topics that we've talked about
Mm,
so far, it's very much tied to all of those questions that we have asked so far.
yeah.
It's just, and I don't know if I would call it an easy way out, but it's a less stressful way out when it comes to those like difficult questions, as like why are we here? What's the purpose of life? How did
Okay.
the
Yeah.
universe get made? Like so on and so on. It's sort of an easier way out to just put it on religion, as in like, oh yeah, it's either something man-made or well, not man-made, but it's either something like human, quote unquote, or it's a just an entity that's above us that
Yeah.
has done it all for us. I'd say that's a very human reaction to those kind of questions. It's like, oh, how can we make it relatable to us
Mm, yeah.
on a personal level for those types of
Yes,
questions?
because
Which
we
is
have
why I
a
think,
need to kind of know everything almost. That's
yeah,
kind of
we have,
what we want.
that's how we evolved after all. So it's not that I don't
Yeah.
understand it, but I think religion is, to me personally, is a very easy way out of figuring out or answering questions that we don't really have the answers
Yeah.
to.
I think religion is just it's faith, isn't it? And I think if we look at faith as what faith is it's almost it's like a trust in the unknown of of something that's about to happen. Like having faith that something's going to happen. It's just trusting that
Yeah,
it's going to happen. And people having faith, you have faith in different religions, and I guess you can have faith in yourself though as well. So the way I look at religion, I think
oh,
is
absolutely.
just kind of that trust, but trying to assign like a form to it.
Tangible thing.
Yeah, like where we can where you can look at it, you can actually do something about it in religious terms,
Yeah.
isn't like praying to a certain god or certain rituals. I think that helps people connect and feel closer to the faith, and that in turn makes them trust kind of what's going to happen more. And I think in for most people, it's a good thing because it helps them live and lead a life where they full
Yeah,
of
yeah,
faith.
100%.
Obviously,
100%.
there's the other side of religion, which we can go into later, which is the like negative part with the conflicts.
Yeah,
Stuff
you
like that.
always have the bad actors of any
Yeah, but
situation.
I think that's the same with most kind of groups, most pretty much everything. You got two poles to everything, two sides, and some people just go fire in one direction. Some people stay in the middle. But yeah, I think religion is I think it's changing a lot. I think before it used to probably be a lot more powerful when we weren't as smart,
Yeah,
obviously, because the religion is a lot of unknown. because it's that kind of blind faith almost, because you don't know what it is. You just kind
Yeah,
of
and it was
trusting and believing the stories.
religion was very powerful in the times where you didn't really have the luxury for most people to think about anything other than I just want to survive. Like I just need
Yeah.
to survive and like get to the next day. So in that time, whenever something else happened or something disastrous happened or some like whatever it was very very easy for people in power to kind of push religion onto people
Yeah.
and be like, oh yeah, this bad thing happened because, for example, the gods weren't happy, so we need to do
Yeah,
this and
I feel
this to
like
make them happy.
now we have an explanation for most things that happen in the world, like
Yeah,
earthquakes, tornado, any natural disaster, anything like
and drought, like
that.
anything
Yeah,
that
the
is
even yeah, like
a
the
bad
solar
situation.
system. You know, the stars. We know what things are now because we've got the technology, we've advanced. Whereas before, you know, these things were unexpected. It's like it is like magic. It's like, damn, the
Yeah,
gods have done this, and I think that's very interesting to me, because it almost makes, with the way I see it in that lens, it's like religion is just kind of yeah, it's like you said, it's just that giving something an answer when we don't know what it is, and I think,
mm.
but then the way we've advanced now, we know what things are, and we're learning about kind of the fundamental reality of things. It's like, how true are some of these stories that go back kind of, you know, thousands of years? And it's like, if someone did a miracle now, like, I don't know what it could be, like a
I
teleportation or something, like someone
yeah
time travels and assigns that to a religion. A whole religion could be born out of something like that if there's no explanation for someone time traveling or something and saying, "Look, I'm a god, I can time travel." There'll be
yeah
fanatics. There'll be a religion built around that.
uh, absolutely. Which is, I mean, you've seen that in plenty of situations. I mean, just take fucking Scientology for example, with like Tom Cruise and those people.
Mm.
There are plenty of situations even today where you have these, I would say, in a vacuum, ridiculous cults, religions that kind of pop up out of nowhere and get a lot of following, which is usually just based on who promotes it in this day and age, because it's
Mm.
religion
How
has
high
kind
has
of
you got?
become more of a clout operation than
Yeah,
actual
you see all
belief
the videos of
at
people
this
trying
point.
to convert people. Like, that's what I find interesting as well. Like, say if you're walking through the town or something, there's always someone. You've got one person preaching about Jesus. You've got one person preaching about a different religion, and they're next to each other, and you're like, what? I don't get it. Why are you both kind of just trying to get me to your side? That's not what religion should be about. And I
Yeah,
think,
it's a tug of war between
yeah,
you need to believe in my religion
it's a
as
very
opposed to
egotistical
others,
take on it. When I think, you
which
know,
I think is one of the fundamental issues that I have with religion. Because when it was created, whatever religion it was, when it was created, or I mean created, I don't know
mm,
how you would when it was formed, I suppose. The idea was very pure and very
yeah,
good and very kind of, this is just meant to be like a kind of a binding element for
yeah,
humans to tie themselves down,
it's a
especially when it comes to morals and
yeah, yeah,
rules
yeah.
and stuff like that within religion. But the problem is because it's faith that you need to believe so strongly in it, you attach it
Mm.
to yourself. It is very easy for someone to come in and start pulling on those strings and pushing you in ways that had nothing to do with the
Yeah,
religion at all.
I think faith is one of the strongest kind of powers I think we
Yeah,
possess.
100%. Because
I think it is the
you have
strongest
to
power we possess. Having
put
faith,
your whole soul into believing in it. So
believing
whatever,
something that doesn't necessarily, you haven't seen it. It's not.
yeah,
It's not like believing like my water bottle is a water bottle. That's a lot easier to believe because I can see it, and
yeah.
and my body and my kind of physical form can believe it because I've learnt that. It's I can believe that easier. It's a very proven thing, like what we
Exactly.
learn. This is, but however, with faith in like religious and higher powers, it's something that, you know, our bodies and our three-dimensional forms. There's not really enough proof to our body and mind to say that this is real because we can't understand it. We're outside of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that power of faith and being able to will yourself to believe that, I think, is very powerful. However, it's when it does turn into the egotistical, which is the three-dimensional forms that we're in. That, like, when religion takes over that part, it's no longer kind of the higher power religion anymore. It's just another human, primitive, social bonding thing that we've managed to use to evolve and, like, form groups, I guess. But then,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like the
when you
two sides to religion,
use
isn't it?
exactly, and when you use religion as a weapon to either try and force someone to convert or shame them for
Mm,
not being religious or not being part of your religion, you've deviated completely from what the idea of the religion was to begin with.
yeah,
The whole idea of a religion was just to bring people together in a time of like toughness and a time of like need because there was so much shit going on for most people. So whoever it was, like group, organization, person, whoever made it with the intention of bringing people together to like work towards these bigger issues that they had, usually like poverty, famine,
yeah.
so on and so on. And over time, it just gradually got used in a more nefarious way because humans are humans and we will always find a way to
It's like that
manipulate
innate war
things
kind
to
of. It's
get
like
our
what we
war
spoke
out of
about.
our thing.
Was it last week? Um,
Yeah, I think it was last week.
when we spoke about kind of there is a. I think there is that innate part of us that is conflictual because it's survival of the fittest, really,
Yeah,
isn't it? That's how we've evolved. And I think everything we do in terms of anything that's powerful enough, like faith, is bound to cause some conflict as well. Like if it's so far in the positive side, there's also the negative swing of it as well. So
and
yeah,
in and from that, in my personal opinion, I believe that religion has done more bad than it has done good in the grand scheme of things because you can trace it all the way
yeah,
back to its creation. So many wars, so many lives that have been lost in the concept of like, oh, my religion is better than your religion,
yeah,
and it's been so easy for these fucking shitbags at the top to use religion to manipulate people because faith is such a strong concept. Like you have to
mm,
truly believe in it. So it's so easy for them to use religion as an excuse to make people do things that, uh, at least I believe, has nothing to do with
yeah,
religion at
yeah,
all.
sure. Because at the end of the day, it's all pointing the same way. It's just different
Yeah, they're
arrows, and
all
like
yeah they're all pointing in the same direction of what they believe in. It's just some deviations from the like smaller details here and
yeah,
there that has been pushed up to be of more importance than the actual religion itself,
yeah,
which to me is
and
crazy.
the deviations, if you think about it, it's all in language. The deviations is in
Yeah,
words, which is crazy because we invented the words. There's no,
yeah, exactly.
you
And
know, the
so
higher power doesn't invent any words. We did that. That's a
yeah,
human thing.
exactly. And so it's like the deviations has come from most likely human error or human like
Just different
misconceptions or
groups,
whatever.
just different
Yeah,
experiences.
exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. Like different ways of thinking about it. And for some reason that has stuck so hard into the different
Mm.
religions that it's ended up creating like different paths which within the religion which for some reason one is worse than the other just based on those
Yeah,
deviations. And that's insane to me. That part I don't understand.
because I accept, obviously, with religion, it answers a lot. There's a lot of morality around it, and you know, like
Yeah,
the
absolutely. And
that's good. Like the don't
that's
kill,
good.
like the common sense
100%.
morality.
Yeah.
However, there is also the other side of things where religion sometimes can introduce the side of morality, but over things that aren't necessarily unmoral to every. Like it's a thin line. Say some religions like the sex before marriage, things like that. It's like
Mm.
it's not completely detrimental. It's only in the religion where it is. Whereas killing someone is a lot more detrimental in terms
Yeah.
of anyone. And I think that's interesting to me because it's like how
Yeah.
how
The
did that happen? How did that come about?
the problem with the more social constructs that we also created.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like marriage is also something we created. Like it's not marriage doesn't really mean anything if you boil it down to like
Oh
its
yeah, it's
core.
just a label. It's just
It's just it's literally just a label. I mean, if you really loved someone, why would you need a label to say that you love
yeah,
them? Just be like. But that's a different point. But the point is, when you have these social constructs within a religion, and you say, for example, sex before marriage is a huge sin, which I think every religion says, if I'm
yeah, most
not
of them,
correct,
yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
probably.
Yeah, and the problem there is that when you then end up in a situation where you have someone that's not religious, or let's say less religious, or whatever happens,
Yeah,
that concept
but it doesn't.
ends up being shamed by the
Yeah, because
people
it doesn't mean that
that are
person's
in the religion.
like any less of a human. Like any,
It shouldn't, at least.
like say if someone's not religious and they feel a connection, they don't want to get married. Like I don't know, they just don't
Whatever
want that
reason.
label, and that's fine.
Whatever reason.
Why should they be then shamed for not wanting that intimacy with their partner, even if it's still a true connection, just because of that little
Exactly,
thing?
which is also a major problem I have with religion. It's like, why does everything have to be so black and white when it
yeah.
comes to
But the thing is, also
the rules?
on that on the flip side to that, like I know a lot of kind of religious like Christians and they'll follow it, and the when I see like the discipline around it, so kind of away from anything religious, but having that faith and having that belief, it does cause them to lead a kind of more disciplined life, which ends up being better for them. Like that, there's one kid I know. He's brought up as a Christian, but he's a really good kid because he lives by these values and things. So it might not mean anything to us, but to the people who are religious, I think it benefits their life a lot in terms of creating who they are and like those beliefs of having that discipline and regimented kind of structure in terms of the practices in their religion. I think it can be a good thing, but it's just
Yeah, that's
it's like
those. It's only a good thing in the cases where you keep the religion to yourself on a personal basis.
yeah. It has to be just
the
for you kind of thing.
Yeah, but the only problem I personally still have with it is that, but let's take the friend you know, for example. He's presumably quite religious since he follows the rules
Yeah,
and like he
I mean
keeps
he
himself
has
disciplined
like
within
strong
religion.
faith. Yeah, like he believes
The
in.
problem is, if something catastrophic was to happen to his life, the chances are he'd be easier to sway into certain directions based on the fact that he's so religious.
What do you mean?
Let's, for example, I mean, just take a look at America, for example. You have so many. The religion is so deeply rooted in their society. It is very easy to manipulate people when things are going bad.
Or by using like
I'm not.
religion against them.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to your friend. I'm just saying, historically speaking, and proven over and over again, when you have such a religious society, it is very easy to move them in a certain direction, which isn't necessarily good.
Yeah, I think the idea of using someone's faith against them, yeah, is very. That's the power works in both ways. Like we're saying, the faith is
Exactly.
having that faith. Faith is one like the most powerful thing. Yeah, if someone knows how to manipulate you and use it against you, that can also be kind of quite detrimental. But also, do you think the power of faith stops you from getting manipulated as easy?
No.
Because what, like,
It all
try to think
depends
of an
on
actual
how you.
example of like someone like what would they have to say and do to actually manipulate someone to use the religion against them? Like,
I
I
think
can't think of an example for like
I
an
don't think the
individual or something.
the being religious is in and of itself doesn't like mean that you have like less or better protection against manipulation. It's just because it's about faith. You have to really put your soul into believing it.
Hmm.
So even I mean also I'm slightly biased against religion because I've got a grandfather who had a very like religious family. He grew up religious. He started questioning the religion and wasn't really like following their beliefs, and he literally got kicked out of his own family. Mom and dad didn't want to talk to him anymore.
Mm.
No one of his family didn't want to converse with him, speak with him, even meet him, just for the fact that he didn't believe in what they believed in to the extent that they did.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's crazy. That's
So he got ostracized by his own family. Like it's
Yeah.
like your family being religious and your mom kicking you out of the house because you one day say, "Hey mom, I'm not really sure about this religion thing. I've started having like questions, and I'm not sure if I'm actually like truly believing in this anymore."
Mm.
And your mom then kicking you out and never talking to you again.
I think that's such a primitive thing as well. Like,
Yeah, but that's my problem with religion is that
because it
those
isn't
kind of
actually
situations
reality.
are
It's not like providing, actually giving food. Like getting kicked out of a tribe or something back in the primitive days because you were attacking group members or something. Like something that
it's
actually
completely fair.
kind of goes against the group.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly. Which that I understand, which is fair,
yeah,
which is what we do
yeah. When
now
it's
as well by
religion,
putting
it's
people
just
in prison
because it's
and
just
so on.
faith. It's like, yeah, I think getting
It's just a
so
more
attached to
fickle
the faith
situation.
is almost, it can be detrimental, and I think the way, I think positive religion is like getting attached to the unknown and getting attached to the part that's actually kind of above us that we don't know about, but not in an attachment that's like egotistic. It's like, it's hard to explain because it's almost
I
being
know what you're trying to.
attached to
Yeah,
detachment, like from
the thing that is good about religion is when you attach to the concept of what religion is, as in like you should be a good human, you
yeah,
should respect your neighbor, you shouldn't
yeah,
hurt
yeah, yeah.
people, you shouldn't kill, so on and so on. Everything about that, completely respect, and has definitely helped a lot of people. I'm not saying like it hasn't. My problem with it is that I don't at this day and age where we've evolved so much as a like human species, I don't believe that you need religion to have those basic concepts of like humanity
Mm.
or
Yeah,
those basic social rules of like you
I
don't
think
kill people, you don't
it
fucking
should just be kind
rob
of
people and so on.
just
That
part of
should just be
humans.
engraved. Yeah,
Uh,
that should just be taught and engraved as a
and
human. Like that's just how it means to
I
be
think we'll
human.
get to that point where these
I think so as
things
well.
are almost, there's almost like a overarching one kind of belief that
Yeah.
leads people to being taught to help others and all those kind of moral things. And
Yeah.
but I think we're in a really weird time. Like
100%.
if you go back not even that far, kind of we weren't advanced enough. It was very much everyone just kind of got on with that before the internet, probably. Like everyone just
I'd
gets
say
on with their
probably
life and
before
work.
computers.
Yeah, before, like, yeah, computer technology. Yeah, everyone just in their own lane. No one really. You kind of knew who you knew, and that was it. Now we're in
Yeah.
a weird space where we know so much, and we're exposed to so many different beliefs, and more people are forming their own beliefs. I think
Oh
around.
yeah, and the people are gradually like increasing or decreasing how attached they are to their religion. I mean,
Yeah,
you got different levels of like a Christian, for example. You got
exactly.
a very devoted one, and then you got one that's like slightly less devoted. It's just they don't they don't really participate in like the prayer and
Yeah,
everything like that, but they still like a Christian at heart. They just believe in the concepts of the religion,
yeah,
which I think is the healthy version. Is where
yeah.
you
Not
keep
kind
it
of getting too
you
attached to
keep
it.
it to yourself. You keep it to
Yeah,
yourself, but you don't
but you still got
you
faith.
don't judge others. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't judge others for not believing in your faith, and you respect others for having like their own
Mm.
opinions or religions and so on. That part completely fine with don't doesn't matter. But at that point, to at least in my opinion, it's like, does religion matter at all at that point? When you're at the
Yeah,
point where it's
because it's like just believe, just have faith, but it doesn't matter what you have faith in. Have faith in yourself. I think
have faith in yourself, have faith in being a good person, have faith in like following rules, society, like, contributing to everyone, like just these basic human things that have always been needed for humans to like survive and evolve.
Hmm.
that should be the faith, in my opinion. I said like you should. I guess is that humanitarianism? Is that what that entails? I think it is. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'll
I think
have a little
humanitarianism
search.
is the belief in like the human itself.
Yeah.
I think it's like what we should be doing is just have belief in like humanity as a whole, not this one concept that we can't really grasp.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
nowadays, now that we have
I
so
think
many
religion is
questions
slowly.
answered.
I think it is on the. I don't know the stats behind it, but I feel like I've seen there's more kind of atheists and like percentage wise,
Yeah, and
non-religion
agnostics
is
as
growing.
well.
Yeah, agnostic as well, and I think like for me anyway, like kind of I was brought up or in a Sikh family, and that's just kind of been the base religion. I was never really religious or anything, but I'd go to the temple for like
Yeah,
like weddings, all that kind of stuff.
Sikhism is that closer to Buddhism or Hinduism?
Hindu, I think it actually came from Hinduism. I think it's one
Yeah, I
of the
believe so
newer
as well.
religions. Hinduism's one of the oldest. I believe.
Yeah, no,
Hinduism
yeah,
the
I think
first?
I
Was that
think.
one of the first
Oh,
religions?
I don't remember. It could be, but I have the concept in my. I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I know, Sikhism isn't that like uh strict when it comes to the same rules that Hinduism has,
Yeah, no, it's not
if I
as.
remember correctly.
It's like
You don't have a
it's
caste system in Sikhism, do you?
not in Sikhism. I think that's well, it kind of, but it's from Hinduism. I think it's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
overarching kind of thing. But
Yeah, but from what I remember Sikhism being like more in the direction of it's just more about you like improving yourself instead
yeah,
of
it's more about kind of giving and
yeah,
living an honest living, like giving the
being
people around you,
respectable
kind of
and
that kind of
stuff like
thing.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, even with that, like growing up with that, I think I still have a connection to it because of the morals, and it's almost I've accepted that as a part of my ego and my beliefs in terms of because I've grown up around it. So I still get
Yeah.
when I'm kind of there, I still get a feeling of this connection, but I know it's not necessarily exactly how one religion portrays it because I've developed my own belief to believe in okay, just in the unknown, like not labeling
Yeah.
anything and just kind of being completely present and now, but being able to kind of use religion as a tool to get me closer, like almost like a meditation. Like when I'm there, when you're in the
Okay,
temple,
yeah, I see what you
the
mean.
feeling of sitting there, listen to like them read the holy book or whatever. It does make you feel that meditative kind of experience, and you know, being present and feeling that faith, and
Kind of being closer to the
that
truth in a way.
yeah, and but then even with that, like I had a shoot in a church once. It was like a whole weekend. So I spent a whole weekend in this church, seeing a few like two services, seeing all the people. Obviously, it's so different in the way they do it.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing like what I was used to. However, the idea of everyone coming together, the idea of everyone just being present. There was like everyone was dancing, singing, and then I felt as
Having
well.
like a good
I also
time. Yeah,
felt the
yeah, yeah.
same feeling of being closer to just oneness and the present moment, which is I think the only higher power, which is just like it only exists right now. There's no past, future, that kind of thing. I think that's the power everyone believes in, and that's what religion gets you closer to. But I think there's so many different ways to do it, and even the way I might do it as well, like kind of not believing anything, but that's also a sort of it's still a belief. It's still part of the ego. It's still kind of
Yeah.
on the same level as a religion, but it's just like yeah, not following practices or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I don't know how you get to that point, but the point needs to be like it's fully acceptable to have different ways of practicing your
Yeah.
belief in whatever your belief is, which is just how religion's diverted. It's just how you practice whatever you
Mm.
believe in. And I don't. My again, another big issue I have with religion is exactly that. It's like why, for example, in your case, why can't you just look at Sikhism and Christianity and just be like, yeah, you practice it that way, you practice it that way.
Yeah, and
Who
that's it.
cares how you practice it? You both believe in the same concept. I
Yeah,
don't, not exactly the same thing, but you believe in the same concept. Assuming you're not an extremist or you take it to a different level. But for most people, they all believe in the same concept of like, okay, we need to be a good person. We're getting together. We're just having like it's more of a community gathering kind of instead of, which is all good and well. Like that part, I think has been very beneficial to a lot of people in humanity. It's like the whole coming together as a collective and just appreciating life almost.
yeah, yeah.
Like
No, I think that's
in a good way.
like the main thing of that should be what it's about. I think that is what it's about for most
That is
people. Like it is.
why it was created and what it
Yeah,
was meant to be about. But somehow we've
it
just
kind of
let it
deviates a little bit.
we've just let it go to the point of even creating wars over it,
Yeah.
which I think is it's very interesting to see how it ended up becoming so kind of radicalized to the point where you could even create wars out of this belief.
Yeah, how
just
belief got so strong to the point of people actually killing other people over it. I think that's correct. Like,
oh, that's which
the
I wish. I hope. I mean, in the future, I hope we get the technology that we can like. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would have been so cool to get to the point where we can have a look into, let's say, like a regular Joe's life back in like the 1500s and or the Crusades, like a Crusaders' thoughts, like what was going on in their brain when they were doing
cool.
what they were doing,
That
just
would
to
be
see
cool.
how it happened.
You know, to see.
You know what I mean? It's like how did your brain rationalize what you were doing against another people just because of
almost
religion?
seeing how faith work, like how scientifically, how does faith work? But
Yeah, because you really see how it works.
I think it's like
in
infinite.
the extreme
Something
cases.
that we
yeah, exactly.
we'd never know. And that's it. It's kind of it's one of those. It's like an itch we'll never be able to scratch. But I think finding peace with that is a good thing to do. I've found the oldest known, well, it's often debated. It says there was prehistoric spirituality. We haven't really touched on that. I think that's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so it says here before 10,000 BCE, animism, so the belief that all things have spirits. So that's probably very that's an early kind of spirituality.
Yeah, spiritualism, totemism, and
ancestor worship. So like the afterlife and honoring the dead and things like that.
Also, plenty of ones that kind of worship in nature as the religion, which kind of goes into spiritualism. It's more the belief that the world itself is the religion, kind of, in a way, to put it simply.
Everything is just one. I think I kind of believe that as well. Actually, to be fair, like just the whole oneness of just everything. Just the universe is everything's just the equal. It's all just.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting one, that especially how, because you don't see spiritualism anymore in that sense. Like you don't have like these spiritualistic beliefs anymore. I actually do you maybe?
I think that it's not as common, but there's definitely kind of.
Yeah, I just thought about like the Maoris in New Zealand, for example. I'm pretty sure they still have that kind of system.
I've seen a few videos.
Probably Native Americans as well.
There's still things like that go on, and a lot of.
Well, not to the. My point was more not to the extent that more conventional religious practices has become. It's like kind of interesting how we went from, because everyone was part of that at some point, because that was just what the norm was back then. So kind of an interesting situation. How do we go from spiritualism to religion to atheism? I mean, I know how we got to atheism.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like
that progress is
kind of we went from spiritual, like almost a very stripped back idea of religion. It's just pure.
Actually, almost back to the.
And then
we've almost gone a full circle in a way.
And then as we've evolved, we've gone, okay, actually here are all these stories about almost spirituality. Oh, we can make a religion from these stories now, and these things that have happened.
I think that's kind of what
happened. Now it's like you said, we're going back to the idea of just simplifying it because I think our minds just complicate everything. I think everything is just simple. Nothing's actually
Yeah, I think we have an
complicated.
innate need to, for some reason, overcomplicate
It's because
things,
we are
and
complicated. It's because I think because
yeah,
our
it's
minds
the
are
brain is
complicated,
complicated.
and our brains are
The brain is
literally,
very complicated.
supercomputers. We look at our PC and we think that's complicated. Our brain's crazy, and the
This one
fact
here
that
is fucking
we are so
complicated.
complicated, I think everything outwards has to seem complicated as well. It's the idea
Yeah, I
of
guess it's our.
because it's like a dog isn't going to find things complicated because they're not complicated.
It's it's probably why we've ended up becoming like the humans that we are today. It's because
Mm.
we
Yeah,
have a need to complicate things because it
and
drives you to do
we've made
things.
complicated things like computers and
Yeah,
planes.
like
That's
computers
how
and
we've
society and
evolved.
fucking
Yeah,
skyscrapers. Like those are also like a insane thing that
and
you don't really think about anymore.
I think there'll be. I think there's definitely way more complicated things out there. Because I had a little thought
Oh yeah,
while I was walking the dog the other night. I was like, what the dog is to us, like what the dog is to a human, the human is to the unknown as well. Like, so how
yeah,
simple
I'd
a
say
dog is
yeah,
to
I'd
us,
probably say
we are that
yeah,
simple to something out there. And that could be the higher
100%.
power that we have faith in. Like, a dog has faith in its owners to give it food, to protect it. We, religion, faith, things like that, we have faith in something way more complicated than we are.
Yeah.
And that's why we'll never understand it because, even this computer isn't good enough to understand it.
Bro, mine can barely run certain games, let alone figure out
But your
the
brain
truth of
or the
the
computer.
universe. No, my computer.
What to say? Your brain's running games.
But
I want one of them.
yeah, bro, actually, kind of.
I'm
It could
playing.
be
I'm playing Pong
actually
right
for
now.
the simulation theory again. We
True.
could be there as well. But the I mean, obviously, in the end, you can't really until we know the answer, which who knows if we actually will end up knowing the answer. You can't point fingers and say who's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Even atheists like myself, we can't point fingers and say that we are correct. But I think that's kind of what separates atheism from all of the other ones. We accept that we don't know. We accept the fact that we don't know if there is or not, because there's no evidence for it being there. In a sense, there's no evidence for it not being there, but that's not how that's not how that works. You can't believe something just because the evidence isn't there, as in contrary to the evidence being there. But I think that's kind of why I ended up attaching myself to atheism more than any of the other ones, because I've always had a very, very like realism to my way of thinking. It's like everything has to be realistic, everything has to make sense. And religion is anything but sense in that.
Yeah, no, mate, it doesn't make sense. Best of times.
So
I think I was probably
again.
I've gone. I think everyone goes through different journeys as well of beliefs because everyone changes. Everyone grows.
Yeah, and things can happen. Something unlocks in your brain, and things
because
can
there's
change
a lot
all
of
the time.
stories of like, it's atheists like doing like DMT or something, and then converting to maybe like spiritualism or being agnostic or maybe not like a set religion, but going from believing absolutely nothing to going, oh, there is something kind of there.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So there's always the chance of people going from religion to atheism or atheism to
Do you think you'd
religion or
ever
any other
believe
things.
like just something?
No.
Would you ever go like agnostic almost?
No.
Fair.
I obviously there's no way of telling. I mean, I acknowledge the fact that I don't know, but I also have the belief, because atheism is a belief, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We also believe in the fact that we believe
everything's a belief.
In the truth being having to be backed up by evidence.
Yeah.
Our belief is that it needs to be proven scientifically by evidence for it to be true. And I don't see a world where I don't see a future where we'll ever be able to prove that there is something higher above, in the sense of like a god dictating
like an
everything.
actual set, like a scientific physical equation proof. I don't think we'll
Yeah.
ever get that. And I
Yeah.
think
So
that's the interesting thing about faith, because it's that, there's, because the way I kind of have faith and belief in just things happening is how, what I always talk about in terms of like the patterns of the universe, like what you see around you, like in terms of kind of the rhythmic swing of everything,
yeah.
the fact that everything's like vibrating, nothing's actually at rest, and all these, the polarity law and things like that. So I think I've kind of, that was enough proof for me almost to say, okay, I think there is something, because there's patterns and everything, that they're all effects of a higher cause. That's the way I kind of saw it, and I think that's what kind of took me away from almost having a similar standpoint of view, to then go, okay, maybe there is a higher cause because of the patterns in the universe, just because you can kind of assign. I'm looking at everything. I've assigned all these like little laws to everything from from us to the stars. It all follows the same rhythm and polarity, things like that. So I think for me, that was what kind of made me believe a bit more. But and that's why I asked, like, if you'd ever like, you think you would. I think you should do a DMT stream. No, let's not do that. That would be hilarious.
Well, you see, the problem is that anything that can be proven scientifically by humans,
Hmm.
to me, is by proxy not made by a higher power.
Yeah,
It can't be.
instantly.
It can't have been.
It's
It can't have been made by a higher power
yeah,
if we manage to prove it using our human methods.
yeah. I
Because the
agree
whole
with that.
point is that it's a higher power. It's not. You know,
Yeah,
if it is a higher power, you're not meant to be able to prove what is happening. And so, I mean, again, who knows what happens in the future? If we end up proving that there is a higher power, most likely I'm just gonna have to eat shit and accept the truth.
and
That say,
I think it
okay, yeah,
is
I was wrong.
interesting because, like, say, like consciousness, we don't really know much about it yet, and there's the
Yeah,
debates around consciousness being the higher power, being like the thing that you know control is the cause. But then, say if we got to a point where we find like we find out what consciousness is. Like we find out, oh, it's this particle, it's this frequency, it's this wave, it's this thing. Like it's a thing, we've
yeah.
detected consciousness. We know where it comes. Then what you were saying, like, okay, now that's no longer a higher power because it's just part. It's like a radio wave. It's like it's like
It's part
Wi-Fi.
of the it's part of nature at that
But
point.
then
It's just like part of our
and
human
then it's
world.
like there's, and that's where I'm not conflicted, but it's kind of where I accept that.
You can go
It,
either way with it.
Yeah, I think
When it comes to that
it's
point, you can
fine
go
with
either
you.
way.
Yeah, it's like
Again, which is why I think it's so ridiculous that it has to be this complicated to have
yeah,
faith in something, because you can literally go either way for any of the things that you discover.
yeah,
One human will go this way, which is religion. The other human will go this way, which is like atheism. It's like if it's that easy to diverge from the paths, why does it matter which path you take?
exactly. At the end of the day,
That's bars right there. Holy.
that was hard, man. Clip that, chat, clip that.
Clip it, clip it.
um, but it's all the same. When atheism and religion, it's like I always go back to the temperature analogy, like the polarity.
It is literally two sides of the
It's
same
two
coin.
sides of the same thing, and it just matters. It's a matter of degree how far up or down the scale you are, but it's an infinite scale. Like I think infinity in itself is almost a belief as well. Like
Yeah.
because that's something we don't know. We haven't got our head around. So I think
And I don't think
and I don't think we ever will. Like if the universe is infinite, we'll never
I don't
know.
think you can ever prove infinity,
Yeah, our maths
because
doesn't
like
allow it.
it's just infinite isn't something you can
Yeah,
prove. Neither is like nothingness. So it's not like either way you'd way. So, but yeah, moving on. That's besides the point.
yeah.
That's
I had
that's
a
another
thought
deep
earlier
one to go
actually.
through.
I don't know if it's got anything to do with it, but I was like, as when I was watching The Arrival earlier, I was like, is maths like the language of the universe? Do you think if we found
Yes.
another, like some aliens, we can communicate with maths?
I think equations and like mathematical
Mm.
operations for proving why like how the universe light years speed atoms so on and so on is absolutely like a universal language. The problem is
Oh, the way we
we've
write it.
made it into numbers
Yeah, true.
and the way we write it, so it probably wouldn't be the same. But I think that's a different
I think.
conversation as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if anything is, I guess, like linking it, religion just cannot be defined by maths, and if it's defined
Yeah,
by maths, it's not a higher power. It's not.
it can't be it can't be religion in
If
that
it's
sense because
inside
then
of the language of the universe, it's part of the universe, and the
it's
higher
yeah, which
power
is
is
then
not part of the universe. The higher power is
is
outside
done
of it.
by the which is I think also why I can't ever get behind religion because every time every kind of question that was asked that has been proved by religion, whatever whenever you ask someone being religious, they just say like, "Oh, that's not that important anymore," because it's been proven. So the goalposts keep moving as more things get discovered and proven. People are that's for the people arguing, like trying to change someone's
Yeah,
beliefs and stuff like the bad actors. They just keep moving the goalposts. While atheism never does that. You don't. There's no goalposts to move. It's just it's either true or it's not true.
yeah. I
And
think I saw
I
one thing
don't.
that was funny. It was like that. I, I think someone said like the Old Testament, or no, the New Testament predicted what was in the Old Testament or something. But it was like, but it was written after. They just wrote about what was already written.
Yeah, that's that's also another
Or I think it was, yeah, the
point. So,
Old Testament predicted the New Testament, like things that are written, like it. Oh my god, it came true in the
yeah,
new one.
so
It's
oh
like
my
you just
god, I've
copied down what they
yeah,
already wrote.
but I think it's something to do with different people from like different times that had nothing
Yeah,
to do with it. Something along those lines. I don't remember. But any holy book or any holy scripture was in the end written by a human. But whatever
yeah.
you can try and argue the opposite, but it's been scientifically proven. Again, atheism wins again. No shame. Uh, that it's been scientifically proven that it was written by humans. So it's like
So it's
I don't
inside
know.
of it's outside of the higher power because it's inside of our power.
That's exactly again outside of the high power because that means that a human would have had to
Yeah,
interpret what the higher power showed them, told like whatever it was,
but then
and then had to write
I
down
think
into the human
there's
world.
I don't think there's any kind of I don't think there's any hard lines between anything. Like, you know, if you're going from hot to cold, there's no kind of, like I was saying, there's no set line, and I think that works with. It's similar to almost like a higher power and a lower power. It's just a gradient. So I think there's parts of kind of the higher power within the lower power and the other way around.
Oh, okay, I see what
So
you
the
mean.
way we interpret religion, I think there is the higher power within it, but it's not as concrete as we think it is. It's very it's like a blurred line. So
Yeah, I see
when
what
we
you mean.
say, you know, humans wrote it, I think is, yes, it's part of, it is a lower power, but it's come through the higher power. If you know what I mean. So it's like maybe it's not kind of concrete. It's not exactly what it is, but it's come from a place of faith. It's come from that place, and it's just when, you know, when what's written starts to become all about the lower power, and all it almost it has nothing to do with the higher power anymore. Then yeah, okay, it's just out of a human's brain. Like we can write anything, can't we now? And it's not necessarily come from like divine
Yeah, and
intervention. But
that part is also a big issue of mine when it comes to religion. It's a you can't possibly prove that it wasn't just a human that wrote it out of his own brain. Like he could have been drunk and wrote it the next day when he was hungover, just being like, "Yeah, this I'm gonna write this." I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying you can't prove that it didn't happen. So whatever happened when these scriptures were magically made, according to some people, because a lot of people argue that they weren't written by humans, and in that case, it's like, how the hell are they here? But no matter
Just
how you
AI.
look at it, you can't exactly. It was a robot that made it. We're all living in a simulation again. GG's. Uh, you can't prove that it didn't happen. Obviously we can't
Yeah,
prove that it did happen like exactly the way it's been told. We can't disprove it exactly the way it's been told, but you can't prove that it wasn't just some guy that just thought, "Hey, this sounds like a fun idea. Let me preach this
yeah,
to my friends."
yeah. I think that's where I kind of stand as well. Like with, it's just stories, and it could have been anything.
Yeah,
And
which is why I think it's so weird to put your entire belief behind the text
yeah,
instead of the ideas.
yeah, because it's like the I think I spoke about it on the Why We Here potentially episode, like the last Thursday theory. Like if the universe only started last Thursday, and with all the memories we have are just implants, like
Yeah,
then okay, so how would it's then it's not real, and so it's like you can't 100% prove anything in it is straight back to the idea of polarity. Like what's real is also not real at the same time. It's two sides of the same coin because we can't prove that something's real because we don't know enough. For all we know, we are.
yeah. I mean, yeah. In
We
the
I
sense of
saw
like,
something the other
we
day.
we
It was
don't.
like imagine we died and we wake up, we're just aliens, and we just turn around to our friend and it's like, oh, that was a crazy trip, bro.
That's a crazy trip ahead. Let me go to the next one, and then
It's
you
like
do
yeah,
your
and you
new
just do
life.
another hit of the bong or something. But it's like
Yeah,
we can't
then you do
prove
your
that
new
that's not a
life in
thing
a different day.
because even
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
I've
You
seen a
can't prove
story
that we're
like
not.
DMT. I saw a DMT story of someone doing that and then did DMT and then they went in this trip and they imagined like a whole underwater life. They had a family and it felt like years and years for them. And then they came out of the trip and they were like, it had only been a few like 20 minutes or something. And then they're like, what? Like, where's my wife? Where's my kids? They're like so engulfed in this, and I think that to me is crazy. Like how not real something can be, and how
Mm,
fickle this existence actually could be. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a crazy world, man. It's a crazy world.
yeah. That's But yeah, if there's anything you take from this, uh, stop being an asshole to
Yeah,
people that don't believe the same thing you do.
but and also
Doesn't
I
make you a better
think
person.
I think we're not kind of advocating against religion here.
No, no, no,
We're
no, no. That's
we're
heresy.
what
That's heresy indeed.
I think if I was to give some advice, I think the power of faith, I think, is like we were saying, is literally probably the most powerful thing we possess as humans. So you might not, you
Both
don't
in the
have to
good
be
and bad.
religious. You don't have to be religious, but just have faith in yourself. Have faith in what you don't know. Have faith that things will go the way you want it to go because you're human. Like we have a mind that's got access to these ideas, and it does have access to this higher, but whatever it is, if you believe it or you don't, like there is we have faith, you know, and and use it to your advantage. Have faith that things are going to go well, because that's all you can really do. If
And
you can just have faith. You can't no point worrying. Just have faith.
stop shaming others for having their own faith.
Yeah. Have just stay in your lane. Have faith that everything will work out, and it will. If you truly believe it, your beliefs do shape your reality. What you believe, it it expresses itself from your subconscious, and those beliefs shape what you do and how you navigate life. So have faith that you can change your beliefs as well, but have faith in the just in everything falling together because everything that can happen will happen, and anything that isn't meant to happen won't happen, and you can have faith in that. And I think it's almost
Amen.
anticlimactic because it's a very simple thing, but that's the thing. It is life is simple. We are the ones
We're very
overcomplicating it.
simple creatures.
Break it all down, forget what you know, and just
Don't
detach
go
from it
outside.
all, and just Play Siege. I just ruined the whole thing. Damn. But no, I think that was good. Anyone to add anything in chat? Should we do another? If anyone's watched this far, comment stretch.
Comment faith isn't real.
Comment inshallah.
Comment inshallah.
Comment that if you made
Comment
it this
inshallah hours.
far.
Heresy, yeah.
I have faith that will get a job. Fuzzy, yes, you will. If you believe it strong enough, you'll easily get a job. It's all easy. Just let it all happen. Just be the tree.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, wait. What are we talking about next time?
Next week, should we? I don't know. Anyone in chat? Any ideas for next week? Why do we love? Damn, that's cute.
Are we talking about that?
I don't think we've spoken about why we love. I think that's a good one, actually. Yeah, I think we could talk about that. Because love is it's like very Valentine's
special.
That's true. Actually, it's good.
Not the right week, but sure.
But is it not next? Oh no, it's not. Brad can.
Well, it's
I'm gonna teach Brad about love, then he's gonna love me.
No, we'll do love next week as well. It's like on a Friday. It's not on a Sunday, so.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next week.